On Saturday, the 28th of November 2020, the National Department for Tarbiyat and Waqf Jadid of New Ahmadis, in coordination with the National Tabligh Department, held their National Ijtema for all of its members, including men, women, and children of all ages. This included the members of the various auxiliaries, Ansar, Khudam, Atfal, Lajna, and Nasirat. Over 100 families attended the National Ijtema, connecting via virtual platform and taking part in the day's proceedings. The opening session commenced on Saturday morning with the recitation of the Holy Quran.
وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا,
followed by a welcome address by the National Additional Secretary Tarbiyat and Waqf Jadid of New Ahmadis, Mr. Jonathan Butterworth, who welcomed the guests to this special event.
Practicing and accepting Islam, the reason that all of you have accepted the promised Messiah is to attain this goal of spirituality. And the sole goal of Islam and of all of the messengers is spirituality. So in reality, spirituality is that process of coming back to oneself in order to find the true self within us and to become the real person we were made to be.
Various insightful and inspiring speeches were delivered throughout the day by respected dignitaries from the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, including the National Secretary of Tabligh, Mr. Ibrahim Akhlaf.
You got that determination as a blessing to undertake this spiritual journey throughout your life towards the Creator who created the universe, the heavens and the earth. He, Allah the Almighty, out of mercy in turn, led you, O converts, along His paths towards Him in recognizing this Imam of the age. Now it is your duty to invite the world to Allah the Almighty while displaying the highest moral standard.
The National Secretary of Tarbiyat, Mr. Nisar Orchard.
We are all equal in the eyes of Allah, but there is one thing that you can excel more than others, and that is your level of righteousness and taqwa. You have to practice what you preach, okay? Listening to good advice and good guidance is one thing, but putting into practice is another thing. And by putting into practice, you can scale that Mount Taqwa quicker than you may think that you can.
The National Secretary of Waqf Jadid, Mr. Fahim Anwar.
The Prophet ﷺ, on whom be peace, the reformer of the age, highlighted further the concept of giving to charity and spending in the cause of Allah, and that this is also a form of worship. That is, Allah, who has provided us with everything that we have, we return this great favor by caring for and helping His creation, particularly those that need help the most.
Academic competitions were held across the day where all members were given the opportunity to participate. The afternoon session proceeded after a break for lunch and prayers. The session commenced with the recitation of the Holy Quran. Missionary in Charge UK, Maulana Atal Mujib Rashid, addressed the attendees.
One very important method of increasing in spirituality, I would say, again, in the wording of the Holy Quran, which is always there to help us and to guide us, Allah Almighty says, Kunu ma'as-sadiqin, that you always be in the company of the righteous people. There are all types of people in the world, good and bad. So those people who are righteous, you try to find them and always try to be in the company of those people.
A specially prepared video by MTA International was then played for attendees to watch, entitled The Way of the Seekers. The video provided guidance for new Ahmadi Muslims on moral and spiritual training, and then means of seeking the pleasure of Allah the Almighty. Competition winners for the various academic events were announced by the respected National President of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community UK, Mr. Rafiq Ahmed Hayat. The National President then delivered the closing address to attendees of the National Ijtema via virtual link.
The Prophet ﷺ and his Khulafas and the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, they basically speak of how we can increase in our piety and fight for against each other to get better and better. And that has to be the way that once we have accepted Ahmadiyya to Islam, then that has to be the way that we should ensure that our lives on a daily basis, we identify the weaknesses that we have within ourselves and try and make sure that we improve ourselves.
The highlight of the event was a special message written by His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, may Allah strengthen his hands, the worldwide head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. The message was sent for the attendees and was read by the National President in his closing address.
Faith requires one to live his or her life in accordance with the commandments of God, and he gains his pleasure through his deeds and words. By the grace of Allah, a large majority of the people amongst us try very hard to achieve this objective.
The Ijtema was closed with a traditional silent prayer led by the National President. This report is brought to you from MT International, UK Studios in London.